What is it about UNC and App State over the last 5 years where just every time they match up, it's going to be a electric game?
I don't know, but I love it, though.
They've played 3 times since 2019. In total, in regulation, the games have been decided by 5 points. It was a 3-point win in 2019 for App.
Yeah. Was that Carolina, too?
It was a 2-point win for Carolina last year in Boone. And now it is an overtime, 2 overtime. So at the end of regulation, it was 0. 40-34 win for UNC, this one in Chapel Hill. Those are electric games. This year does feel a little different, though.
How so?
It felt like UNC, like the other games actually felt kind of well-matched, right? And you can have your opinions about Chase Bryce and you know, the career that he kind of weaved all the way through the ACC and then eventually to App. Like, the guy was a Clemson commit out of high school, right? And he was a big part of that shootout. The previous one in 2019, Darrington Evans was the running back for App. He scored, what was it, 3 times? He's still in the NFL. He's been a guy that, like, you've probably picked up on your fantasy team when you're just getting smashed by injuries. You're like, Darrington Evans, he was on Tennessee, right? Maybe Derrick Henry will get hurt. This year it felt like North Carolina had a lot more talent, but App State was just it's the whole thing where, like, if you let a team hang around, they start to get more confidence. There was zero fear from App State when looking at UNC. Right? There was zero, like, intimidation, like, ooh. What was the game I'm thinking of? What was it? Oh, they were walking. Who played Boston College? It was Holy Cross.
Yeah.
Holy Cross, when they were walking off the field, after losing to Boston College, by the way, they were looking up in the stands, and there was somebody with a camera, and there was a lot of bad words being used. And at one point, one of the Holy Cross players looks at the camera and just goes, ACC, though? ACC, though? As if, like, oh, that was supposed to be a big bad bully. That's supposed to be a Power 5 school. Ooh, Boston College. And I was like, App State wouldn't have done that against North Carolina because they weren't looking at North Carolina as, like, oh, an ACC school. Oh, they think they're – no, they were looking at them like, hey, we beat this team 2 times ago. We lost by 2 last time. We're peers here. So whether we have a first-round pick at quarterback or not, whether we have an NFL running back or not, whether we have this or not, we're going to try to go ahead and win this one. And that's why after the game, I don't know if you saw the comments from Mac Brown, where Mac Brown was like, I don't want to play those guys ever again.
Yeah.
He said, I encourage ECU and NC State to go play them, but I don't know why we would.
Well, ECU's got them this week.
And true. And in Boone. And a lot of people got upset with that. Like, oh, this was such a fun series. These last 3 games have been so exciting. Why would you? And that's exactly why. He's like, because they don't fear us.
Mm-hmm.
If I play a group of 5 school, I want to play a group of 5 school where someone's looking at us like, ooh, North Carolina. I don't want to go to the group of 5 school that is not afraid of us at all. Or that we need that intimidation factor on our side. Because why would we play these games without it? And to a lesser extent, and I'm not comparing the exact, like, it's not a complete apples to apples here, but my alma mater, University of Delaware, played at Penn State over the weekend. They lost by, I think it ended up being 780. They lost by a ton. But do you know when I knew they lost? When the social media team put out a walkout video for Delaware. We were playing in their stadium, and it was like us being so excited to play in what it was, Beaver Stadium, whatever it is up there in Happy Valley. They were so excited to play in such a big, cool stadium that we were like, ooh, film the walkout video as we were walking from the away locker room out through the away tunnel onto the field to get booed. And I was like, okay, this is a moment that is too big for our team right now. We're going to lose. We're not going to cover the 42.5 spread.
Did they?
No, they did not. They lost by, I think it was 780, give or take 730.
Okay.
It was bad. But my point is, App State has none of that. App State has none of that. And they shouldn't, because they've hung with them now 3 straight times. Drake Maye, 2nd straight underwhelming performance. Did a little with his legs, don't get me wrong. But when you're going to be the number 2 overall pick, I expect more than a little with your legs. Right? The passing game especially, no interceptions this time, but no touchdowns either in a close game that you had 2 extra overtimes to make it happen. Now, part of that is because Amari and Hampton was doing so well running the ball. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah.
Just keep handing it off. But part of it is like if Amari and Hampton is running the ball that well, don't you think Drake Maye should be able to play action 1 or 2 times and take advantage of the fact that your running back is that bananas? Don't you think maybe that could be a possibility? 2 straight underwhelming performances. And this is a fun game to play, even though it's probably not fair. Through 2 games last year, granted they were Florida A&M and App first, then Florida A&M, and it was the great shootout against App. Drake Maye had these stats: 53 of 73 for 646 yards, 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's through 2 games last year. This year, against tougher opponents, South Carolina and App, 45 of 62 for 477 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now, even if we say flopping South Carolina and Florida A&M is worth 4 touchdown passes, that's still a big, dramatic difference. Right, and this was the part of the calendar year where Drake Maye was building the hype, where everybody was getting very excited. Now he comes in with the hype, and it's just not building the same way. Now I'm not looking at him saying he's some kind of bum. I'm not looking at him saying he's hurting his NFL prospects. I am looking at them and saying this though: is Tez Walker hanging over that pass game a little bit, or is it a situation where they're letting what they can't control bog them down just a tad? Because, I mean, the Tez Walker situation, and we're about to get a few updates on it from Brian Murphy, WRAL investigative reporter, who's really in tune with all of the details coming out of the Board of Trustees meeting today. But as a football player, that passing game is too talented, whether Tez Walker is there or not, to go 2 games, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in total. Right? And like I said, if the run game is working and you're feeding the run game, that's fine. But that also means you should have big play capability in the pass game. Right? Like don't, and this is the craziest example because I'm going to go straight to the best in the world at it. But like the games where the Chiefs are running the ball, watch the heck out because Patrick Mahomes is going to beat you deep a few times, right? Like it doesn't mean you're going to throw 35 times, but you're going to throw 20 times and you're going to have 3 long touchdowns. Like that's where it should be. That passing game, that receiving unit with Tez Walker, without Tez Walker, is too talented to not put up a few highlights a game. Now, again, part of that might be, right, with Tez Walker as the situation is, distractions happen. College athletes are college athletes. Right, you never know when they have a big test on Monday, and right the final exam is due, and they've got something hanging over them. We know that Tez Walker is hanging over them. We know that Drake Maye wore Tez Walker's jersey reverse after their first game. Mm-hmm. We know that the wide receivers are close. We know that they sent Tez Walker out there as an honorary captain for the App State game. We know that you can't escape all of the conversations about Tez Walker, no matter which way you look or who you talk to around North Carolina. At a certain point, it goes from, hey, that thing that's happening to something you can't control affecting your prep or affecting your focus or affecting anything that's going on in that pass game. And it looks like at least that pass game is not as effective as it should be. And if that pass game is not as effective as it should be when we're looking for answers, I mean, how do you miss it, right? That's got a neon sign and it's blinking like we're on the Strip in Vegas. Pointing right to it, right? Big arrow. Distraction here. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Distraction here.